I see Uncle Dave. We're going to get him back now. And I also see Ricky and Dixie on here. So, hey, guys, how are you? And do we have any other boys and girls before we give it over to Uncle Dave? Any other boys and girls that want to say hello? I don't see anybody. Okay, let's go on over to Uncle Dave. Excited to have you back. Welcome back.
Well, thank you. Good morning. Happy Sabbath, boys and girls. It's a lovely day for the Sabbath, and my Bible verse today is found in 1 John 3:1. See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God, and that is what we are.
I'm here.
And my talk today is going to be on the Eastern Screech Owl. The Eastern Screech Owl, you can see it. There's I'll talk about the colors and everything, but on the map that you see on the right-hand side, one of the things is that is where you can find the Eastern Screech Owl. There are many screech owls can be found in different parts of the world, but our Eastern Screech Owl, this is the territory that is found. Interesting, it does, well, I'll talk about the habitat next, but you can see the range from the east coast of the United States and going to Texas and kind of like going straight up. Now, what type of habitat do they like? Well, they like woods. They like trees. It doesn't matter if it's evergreen or deciduous. Deciduous means that the leaves fall off. Evergreen means that they keep their leaves, like pine trees. They can be found in the countryside or rural, or urban means city. And they like to be near water. They do not like where there's treeless expanses, like in the mountains or in the plains where you don't find trees. You won't find them there. That's why on that map you saw pretty much everything toward the right before you got to the big mountains. My first Eastern Screech Owl that I saw was in Boston, the city of Boston. It was winter time, and word got out that there was an Eastern Screech Owl on one of these main, I forgot what they call it, like it was a housing area, and was a divided road with a center common with trees on it. Well, my wife and I, before going to church, we went straight down into Boston. We found where everybody was. There was no place to park. She was driving. I jumped out of the car. I ran to this one building where all these other people were looking, and right beside the building was a tree, and in that tree was our Eastern Screech Owl. So that's my first encounter with the Eastern Screech Owl. You know, when we talk about identification, we talk about size and shape. So it's about the robin or starling, a little bit bigger than the starling, bulkier. You can see in this picture that it doesn't have much of a neck, and it's a stocky little bird, and it has a large head. The wings are rounded. The tail is short and squared off. You can see the ear tufts in the picture. You don't always see them, but most often they are raised. So you have a distinctive silhouette. The eyes, if you look at the eyes, they are yellow.
That's a small
so the length from the top of the head to the end of the tail is under 10 inches. So it's like half of a foot to 10 inches. So it's a small bird. Weight-wise, 4 to 8.5 ounces, which is like 21 quarters to 42 quarters. 21 quarters basically is $5.25. So you're talking about it could weigh as much as $10.50 a quarters. The wingspan is almost 2 feet well, it can be 2 feet long, 18 inches to 2 feet, which is 24 inches long. So the wingspan is quite hefty. When we talk color patterns, you're either going to see the eastern screech owl mostly gray or mostly reddish brown, which we call rufous. So you can see that in this picture here, the one on the right is gray white, then the rufous one in the center, and on the left it's kind of grayish brown. Whatever the overall pattern is, you can see that it's kind of a spotty, complex spots and bands, and that helps them to camouflage when they're sitting in the tree. And so here, when it comes to nesting, they do not make their own holes or cavities. They require nature taking its place by having rot or squirrels making it, or woodpeckers drilling the hole, or they really like nest boxes like those built for wood ducks. They'll use that, or they'll find mailboxes that aren't being used, crates left on the ground. They're very ingenious on trying to find a nest. But if you look in the tree, you have a rufous and gray together. And the females will on any tree that they have on the bottom and make a depression where her eggs will lie. They have anywhere from 2 to 6 eggs. The eggs are usually white with a little speck on them. The babies are born with their eyes closed, as you can see in the picture. There's one baby that's already hatched, one that's starting to hatch, but the baby's eyes are closed. They usually take 27 to 34 days to hatch, and then they fly off after that. About 30 days after that, they're on. They can fly on their own and be with the parents. One of the things that's interesting, you will not see screech owls active during the day. They are only active at night because they're small. You usually will hear them more than you would see them. But like I said, if you're walking during the day and it's an area that you know that you've heard screech owls, look in the trees. They blend really well against the trees, so it's hard to find them sometimes. We saw my first one in Florida was in the backyard with some friends of ours, Carol and Arlen. It was resting on a tree branch, trying to blend in as if it was like a stump of the tree, of the limb. But they are usually sit in the front of their tree cavity, but they blend in very well. There's a lot of other things you can learn about the eastern screech owl, as many owls. I've only told you a little portion. There's a lot more that you can learn. So be sure to look up the screech owls, the eastern screech owls, to learn more. Learn about owls' feathers. The owl's feathers are different than any of the day birds as well, because they fly in a silent mode. And they do that because of the feathers themselves and how their feathers are different than your normal birds, like your blue jays, your robins. So look that up and see what you can find. But this comes back to the text, the Bible text, 1 John 3:1. See what great love the Father hath lavished on us, that we should be children of God, and that we are. God created all of nature for us to care for and to enjoy the beauty that He provided for us. but his love for us is much greater than that. That he calls us children of God. And Jesus gave his life for us that we may truly be with all when he comes back again. Well, you all have a blessed Sabbath and enjoy the rest of your children's church.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Uncle Dave. And I'm excited to draw with the boys and girls. So I'm going to show you what we'll be drawing today. I made a painting, and so this is what we will. Can you see this? Everybody see it? Yeah? Okay. You guys ready to draw?
Good.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to get my whiteboard going. Okay. All right. You got your markers, boys and girls, and you're ready? Let's just see. Let me share my screen. Here we go. And this is going to be a fun one. It's not hard at all. This one I didn't have to practice as much as some of them. All right. So we're going to start with the head, which is just, let me just move this out of the way. Let me get my black pencil out. I'm going to get a fine tipped pencil. So you're just going to make the big head at the top, which is very easy. Looks like you're kind of making a snowman, but look, it's gonna fall into place. And then you're just gonna make the body. See how easy? That's one of our easiest ones, right? Now you're gonna make the two big eyes, nice big eyes. You're gonna be surprised. This is gonna all work out. Then you make the beak. All right, and this really is mostly about our coloring, but then you're going to make a line around here, kind of define this. And I think I'm going to get a little bit of a thicker pencil. You guys can, control your pencils however you want, but we're going to make some kind of eyelashes coming out of here a little bit. All right, I got to change mine to black. All right, so make some eyelashes, and as you go around, make them not all the same. Remember what we're saying, because if you make them all the same, it's going to look like a bird you bought in Walmart or something. So you want, because nature has beautiful varieties. So some of these lash areas are longer than others. All right, and now we're going to put in a few things like just kind of around here so you can see some things coming out. But again, you want to space it out, different lengths. This one is just, I just love doing this one because it's so easy. And it's amazing the way God has so many varieties. You say, okay, this is an owl. Well, there's different kinds of owls too. Okay, then you're going to make some little bands coming up. See how I'm doing these are kind of horizontal. And again, we'll put a little more in here. Okay, we'll put some in here. All right, now comes the fun part. We're going to do a little coloring in. And when we do this, remember, you always have to leave a little glow for the eye, for the light. And I'm actually going to leave a glow at the top here. And I'm going to leave a little part where I'm going to fill in a little blue kind of down in here. So you can make a little glow. You can make more than one because you don't know how the light's going to reflect. Color those eyes in. Leave your little white spaces. Then you can go and take a little bit of blue if you want and just get a little kind of some other little blue areas here. It's not like an iris, like a regular eye. All right, now I'm going to put some yellow here in the beak. This is it's gonna fall together really nicely. You guys are gonna be really happy when yours are done. And thank you for those who are sending them to me. We have some wonderful artists here. Ricky and Dixie are doing great over there, and I know we have some other boys and girls. Okay, now it's kind of a fun part. I'm gonna take the marker, and you just kind of make some random spots around, and this is going to help you. It's going to really start to look like it. So just make some different various spots all around. Isn't this coming together nicely? And I know yours are too. Okay, let's see. I'm going to make a little bit of orange in here. I'm so glad he did the Eastern Screech Owl, and I had no idea it was so small. When you look at something in a picture, you may think, that it's bigger if you really don't have anything to go on. So it's good to listen and understand the weight of it. It's a lot smaller than I would have thought. I wish I could see one. Maybe if anybody here's in the area, let me know. One time a teacher found out that there was a bald eagle in her area, and she called me special when I was visiting her school, and she gave me her special camera, and she let me go out and take pictures, and I even had a close-up lens on there that she put on there that I could see the babies in the nest. Very exciting when people share when they see beauties in God's nature. Let's see here. And you can always leave some white. You want to leave some white. We are almost finished. I'm going to take a little more black and put a little shadow here. In fact, I need to get it back to the pencil part. Put a little shadow in here. You always want a little shadow. I think I'll put a dot on the nose. Let's see. Make it some little darker areas here around the eyes. Just a little darker. Not too bad, not too bad. I'm not sure I like that last thing I did, but I can make it disappear. Imagine that. I'm going to make it a little thinner. Right in here. And there we go, your Eastern Screech Owl. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and see who has something special to show me out there. Okay, so let's see. All right. Anybody like to share theirs? Ricky and Dixie, what do you got for us? Let's just see. I gotta see where you are on my screen. Oh, look at that. Okay, I'm gonna spotlight you. Hang on a second. Oh my goodness, very nice. Very, very nice. Dixie, did you want to show yours? Let's see what you have. A little higher, put it a little higher. Oh, wow, that's nice. Very nice. Oh, look at that. Great, great. And you're going to have fun coloring it in. You guys do so well. So well. Anybody else?
Chloe?
Oh, is Chloe on here? Where are you, Chloe? Let's see. I got to find, wait, I don't see her yet. I got to get her spotlighted. Let me.
Hey, Joe Jones.
Yeah, I just have to find her because across the top, be patient with me now, Chloe. Let's just see where you are. Wow, I got to find you. You know what? If you speak, then let me unspotlight. Let me unspotlight them. If you speak, then you will come to the middle of the screen, and then I can get you spotlighted because you're not showing up my. Where are you, Chloe?
While you're trying to find her, I'll tell the story, Sandy, that when we were living in Massachusetts, Attleboro, Massachusetts, we had just moved into the house, and I was in my study downstairs, and Sandy came running downstairs and said there are some kids outside making noises behind the house. So I went running out the back door to see what was going on and discovered that we had two screech owls calling to each other from the trees in the backyard. Remember that?
Yeah, I had forgotten about it till you mentioned it. Well, I don't know why I'm not finding Chloe on here. So I guess you're just going to have to email it to me, and I'll have to get it going in the newsletter.
I have mine ready.
Okay, let's see. What do you have, Jean?
Okay. It's on vellum paper. It's kind of thin. Can you see it?
I don't. I'm not having luck seeing anything today.
You gotta put it on.
You got to put it on. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, pull it down a little bit. Pull it down. That's nice. Wait, yeah, keep coming. Keep coming. Oh, that's cute. The other direction.
We can't see it though.
I'm a slow drawer.
Oh,
Yeah, that's very nice. Very nice. I'm glad that some of the adults are joining in. Okay.
This is the time for our children's story, and yours truly, me. I'm going to tell you the children's story. It's funny because this morning I was Sandy a few pictures that I had, and I'm using them as my children's story. But I thought I would ask you, what do we keep pictures for? I mean, what do we keep pictures of people for? The kids still with us? What do we do? We usually keep pictures because they're people that are special to us. Well, I have some very special pictures here that I keep in my study. In fact, one of them has always been in my study as far back as I can remember. And this is it right here. Can you see this picture? This is one of my most important pictures here that I keep, and that is of the day Sandy and I got married. Mrs. Doran we got married. That was almost 45 years ago now. And that's one picture I keep in my study. The other picture that is more recent is this one right here. So I can tell you, that tells you how important this one person is in my life, isn't it? That, you know, she's in, I got two pictures of her in my study. But I was showing Sandy this morning, showing Mrs. Doran this morning, two pictures that I thought were important. And I mentioned it earlier when people came on. This is my grandparents. My grandparents, believe it or not, not my parents, but not my great-grandparents, but my grandparents were born in 1884. This is my grandmother, whose maiden name, her name was Tressa Patterson. And everybody, all the kids used to call her Aunt Tressa, Aunt Tressie. And my grandfather, James Blaine Cummings, they were both born and raised in West Virginia. This is a later picture of my grandparents and my mother, who is the young lady in the picture, and my uncle, who's sitting next to her. And, you know, they were important parts of my family. My grandmother, who you see in this picture, was actually the first Seventh-day Adventist in our home. She was a member of the Emmanuel Baptist Church, but she began to listen to Elder Richards on the radio years ago, an old Adventist pastor by the name of Elder HMS Richards, and she listened to him and took his through the mail Bible studies, and wound up being baptized as a Seventh-day Adventist. And my mother, I think later on, became a member of the church. You know, family is an important thing. We kind of know where we came from. We kind of learn a little bit. I know that I was told, you know, I suffer an allergy to wheat, and I found out that my mother had it, and it looks like even my grandfather must have had it, because my uncle told me that he always had trouble with congestion and with a runny nose, and probably never knew that it was wheat that he was allergic to. My mother figured it out, and nobody bothered, because I'm the youngest of four children, nobody bothered to tell me until a long time later that there was an issue in the family with an allergy to wheat. You know, what's interesting, though, is that when we become Christians, when we accept Christ, we become a part of another family. The same Jesus that dwells in my heart dwells in your heart, and that makes us a family. Doesn't matter what we look like, doesn't matter, what the accent of our voice. Anyone who has given themselves to Jesus becomes our brother and our sister. And we are all, the reason why we get together on Sabbath morning for church is because we are all family. We are bound to each other by our love for Jesus. And I hope that you can look at the people around you, whether they're a part of your immediate family or not, and know that God has made us all family. We're all part of the same family. As members of the same family, we relate to each other differently. We always exercise that love that Christ has called us to. He says, by this shall all men know that you are my disciples, by your love for one another. It's because we're all family. We're all part of the same family. Let's bow our heads to a word of prayer, and then we'll have our special music. Father in heaven, I pray that you will help us to see every person who is around us as family, that they are related to us through you, and that you love them too. And I pray that you will give us a special love for everyone around us. Bless us, Lord, we pray. In Jesus' name, amen.